Okay, so we're going to look at an example of a tile pattern. And so tile patterns are patterns with tiles, shockingly enough. So we've got these little squares, and we're sort of trying to look at the pattern and how many tiles are in each figure. So this is figure 1. Count them up, and we can see 6 tiles. So over here in my chart, I'm just going to record that. And when I look at the next one, I've got the same 6 plus 2 more. And so I'm going to add that 8 in as the next one. And so oftentimes when you're doing these, you're going to have to draw some. And so it's a good idea to think about which tiles specifically were added. And so maybe circle them, or if they aren't already shaded in, you can shade in the ones that are new. And then sort of check to see if that same pattern is continuing. And in this one, we look down and see, yeah, those 2 were at the end, and now we added a new one and a new one at this end. And so we had the 8 that we had before. And so we've got 10 there. And typically when you're doing these problems, they're going to ask you to draw the next one. So they're going to ask you to draw figure 4. And I'm not going to take the time to do the whole thing in the video, but we hopefully know how that would work, right? We'd have that same block of 2 in the middle, right? 2 by 2. And then we'd be adding, I guess I'm going to take the time to do the whole thing. So we'd add 1, 2, 3, 4 out here, and then 1, 2, oops, what's going on there? 3, 4. And so now we can count, or we can look at the pattern here and see it's going up to 12. And then if I go to figure 0, they'll often ask you to do that also. And figure 0 is going to be a really important one. When I do figure 0, I have to go backwards, and I'm basically going to get rid of these 2. And so I'm just going to have this 2 by 2 grid, 4 tiles. And so we sort of have a pretty good handle on this, right? We're making sure we know which tiles are added or subtracted as we go forwards or backwards. And when I look at this pattern, the pattern is plus 2, right? And it's real important to keep straight the difference between the pattern and the rule. And so the pattern is we're going forward 2 each time, or up 2 each time we add a figure. For the rule, we're going to want something that looks like this, right? Something times x plus something. And you maybe remember seeing stuff like this last year. The number that's super important is going to be figure 0, right? And we saw that before in Unit 1, where we sort of start the pattern, right? And so that's going to be this n number, so that's figure 0. And then in front of the x is where we put the pattern, right? And so it's going up 2 each time. Sometimes it could go down, whoops, up 2 each time, right? And so my rule is y equals 2x plus 4, right? That's my rule. And the rule, if we want to check it, I should be able to plug in a figure number 4 and get the right answer. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. And so it sort of seems to be checking out. If I plug 5 into the next one, I would get 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14, which is just what I expected because it was going up by 2 each time. Right, so this is sort of a bunch of stuff that we're expected to do. We're expected to understand the picture, which ones are being added. We're expected to understand the table, how many tiles are in each figure, how much is it going up by each time or down, that's the pattern, and then using the pattern and the table to write the rule. And then the final thing we can do sometimes is we can graph it, and when we graph it, the figure number will be on the x-axis, and the tiles will be on the y. And so we're going to have a y-intercept of 4 in this case. That's where I started at figure 0. And then when I go over 1, I'm going up 2. Right? And so we get this same sort of pattern we've seen on other graphs, right? I go over 1, up 2. You get this nice straight line if everything's working out correctly. So that's it for tile patterns. You'll have a chance to play around with a couple and even create one of your own. Thank you.